But yeah, so this was a really big feature, but I think it came together really well. Again, this was a big team effort. Everyone contributed to this, one piece or another. But yeah, the user story is, as a client platform engineer, aka IT admin, I want to block the end user screen while installing software and running a script after the end user completes macOS Setup Assistant, so that I can enforce required configuration before the end user can click around on their desktop. So yeah, this provides a lot of value for customers to be able to configure what sort of software is set up on end users' machines before the setup process is finalized. And yeah, it just makes that unboxing experience a lot smoother. The machine would be a lot easier to just get started with the right software with this feature. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like in the UI. So if you go to controls and go to setup experience, this layout has changed a bit. You can see here that we have this set of steps now. The end user authentication, setup assistant, and bootstrap package, all of that existed previously. The new pieces are this install software and this run script section. And this is the order that everything will run in when the setup experience is actually happening during setup assistant. So if you click install software, you will see this UI here. And this is kind of a preview of what the UI looks like on the end user's machine. And so if you click add software, you'll see your macOS software that you can add to be installed during setup experience. And so I've got one of each type of app here. I've got Bear, which is an App Store app that was brought in through VPP. There's WhatsApp, which is a fleet maintained app. And then this Zoom is a custom package, custom installer. So I'm going to go ahead and add all of them. And next we have the run script section. So this can just be any shell script that you upload in order to have this run at the end of the process. So I'm going to go ahead and add this one. That's just a really simple echo. And yeah, so that should be pretty much it. I have, like I said, a MacBook Air that's already enrolled in ABM and set up to use this local fleet server as the MDM server. So I should be able to come over here, and I've kind of pre-cooked this a bit. So this is, we're here at the remote management part of setup assistant. And so it's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and click enroll. And what's going to happen is the usual ADE flow is going to happen. This would be when we would do like all of the other stuff like bootstrap package and things like that. But we're also doing profile installation here. So all of that is going to finish first. Part of the ADE flow is that we send an install enterprise application command to install fleetd. And so fleetd is what's going to power the UI that we see in the actual like installation of all of the software and the running of the script. And so again, this is where y'all will have to bear with me a bit, because this is all being sent and downloaded from my workstation. So it's not going to be the fastest process, but yeah, eventually fleetd will come online. The device will enroll through Orbit, and then Orbit will start the software installation process and show the UI. So we just have to kind of wait a little bit for it. I see there's a lot of chat, so I'm going to look at the chat real quick. Doesn't look super relevant. So yeah, we need some elevator music when there's some of these
Can I see some
long
questions
pauses.
while we wait?
Yeah, sure.
Any future plans to like customize what? Because right now it looks like we're dumping the name of the script into the setup, at least from
Yes.
the little snippet there? Any and the name of the app makes sense. Any future plans to be able to customize those instead of run script.sh, say, maybe more descriptive message of what the admin wants to display there.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I don't think that was planned, but um, you might be able to get around that. Well, I don't know. I don't remember if we validate that the file actually ends in .sh or not. We might validate that. So, um, but yeah, I think that would be cool because yeah, setup.sh or whatever can seem kind of weird. Um, so yeah,
And then
that's a good
then
idea.
the software installs follow the same method that we currently install software from, right? It's the same
Yes. Yeah.
process, uh, scripts and whatnot, BPP.
Yep. It's all the same machinery. Um, yeah. So yeah, so this has to download and install fleetd, which is of course Fleet Desktop and Orbit and OS Query. And then once that is up and running, it has to download and install Swift Dialog. So those are basically like the prerequisites for this. Um, yes, awesome. Oh no, don't fall asleep on me. Sweet. So yeah, so this is the UI. Again, this is like a little laggy here because this is, screen sharing over the network. But you can see that we've got the different software that we added and the script. And so now this is just kind of going to be cooking for a bit. Um, this icon is customizable. So this is if you in the Fleet UI or in your config, um, we have that like custom icon that you can set. And so this will read from that and use that icon. It defaults to the Fleet logo, but it's customizable um, for our customers. Okay, cool. So this is something that we noticed during testing. There's some apps that I actually didn't realize. I thought that Setup Assistant like was completely controlled by the operating system and there was no way to paint anything during it, like to do GUI stuff at all, but you definitely can. And so this is kind of a side effect of that, like Zoom pops up this thing when it's done installing. So that's kind of annoying. But yeah, that's something that we are aware of and not super sure if there's a workaround there. But yeah, Marco, that was the conclusion, right? That there's not like like some config or some flag or something that they can set on Zoom.
I just
Oh, I
found
see
that
Dave
this
posted about that Zoom
just
IT
found
installer.
right, yeah, the Zoom for IT admins. There's like there's regular download page there where you download like Zoom, but there is also another one for IT, and then that one doesn't pop up when installed. So I think that's solution for
Nice.
Zoom.
Cool. All right, sweet. So we're getting some updates here on the UI, slowly but surely through this slow network. This progress bar updates, and then we kind of switch these little UI elements here as things are installed.
And the other thing that I want to mention that might not be obvious right now is actually the script is not running yet. It is being held to run after all of the applications have been successfully or unsuccessfully installed, and then it gets
Yes.
executed.
Yes, that's a great point. And actually, maybe something that we can, maybe like a fast follow-up here is there's actually another icon that Swift Dialog has that's like not the loading, but just like a like a little 3-dot thing. And in the back end, we're already tracking pending versus running. So maybe we can make it a little bit smarter and have that like static thing when it's just pending. And then when it actually is executing, we flip it to this little spinny guy. That could be something that we follow up with just to make it a little clearer. But we're almost there.
Do we have an idea of how much faster it would be if it wasn't happening over a proxy?
Quite a bit faster. Yeah, I'm probably like 1.5 times as fast, maybe twice as fast.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Great. So now you can see they were able, like, once I guess I kind of went through that really quickly, but once the process is done, the user is able to close out of the window like I just did and continue with the rest of Setup Assistant. So, and just a heads up, I ran into this issue earlier. So, screen share might do some weird stuff here in a second, but hopefully it'll make it through. All right, that's the time zone. Okay, yeah. So it did this to me earlier while I was testing this flow out as well. I'm gonna come back to that real quick. Basically, I think for whatever reason, screen sharing doesn't survive that transition over to the desktop. So I'm gonna reboot the machine and I'll show you all that the software actually did install. But for now, we can look over here at the activity real quick. This is a bug. This is a known bug. We need to fix this, the attribution of the activities. But you can see that all of these guys ran, including the little script that we had. So we did get the expected output. And then all the software shows up as well. Okay, so laptop is back up. Okay, cool. So if we go to Launchpad, sweet. So our apps are here and they are real. So we can open these guys up and yeah. So that's pretty much it. Any more questions?
Looks great to me. Thank you so much, Haziel. Alrighty, that concludes what MDM was pouring all of our effort into this sprint.
Oh, actually, really, really quick, I forgot about the docs. There is an existing setup experience guide that is going, it's not live yet, but there's it's in the feature branch. This is going to be updated with all of the like a run through of how to add in the software and the script and what users can expect on the end user side. So it'll live here under the existing macOS setup experience guide.